What's up, guys? It's me, the ALE Double X Prince, here to give you a TV show review. Rarely do I do these. I think I did The Defenders, Stranger Things, maybe a couple of other ones, but yeah, I've never really done that much TV shows because I'm not that much of a TV person. And when I do watch TV shows, I'm usually late to the party because I actually like to sit through the show and just watch it. But this one, I just saw it. I know it's been out for a week now, apparently. But when I watched the trailers, I was like, I wasn't that excited for this. I mean, Karate Kid's one of my favorite movies. I'm pretty sure they better not mess this up. But sure enough, I checked it out. I've heard great things, and then sure enough, I checked it out. The first two episodes are free on YouTube Red, or on YouTube in general, but then the rest you have to pay for them. But that was totally worth it because this show was freaking awesome. I love this show. If you guys know anything about me, you guys know that Karate Kid is my favorite movie of all time. That and Sing Street. But yeah, this is an amazing movie. I really, really loved it. It's for sure the best TV show I've seen in a while. I mean, I like Stranger Things. Not the biggest Game of Thrones guy. The Marvelous Miss Maisel was pretty dope. I'll say that. But yeah, anyways, let's just talk about the show. Basically, the show is about William Zabka and Ralph Macchio portraying, of course, Johnny Lawrence and Daniel LaRusso again. Basically, what they've been up to over the past couple of years and what they've been up to, and you see the story of. At first, I thought this was going to be a story of Johnny Lawrence and how he wants to do right because a bunch of kids pick on a roommate. A kid that lives next door to him in the apartment, so he beats them up for them, and he wants to learn karate, but he doesn't. Kind of basically like taking the original concept, and and basically after this, he trains the kid, and at the same time he bumps into Daniel LaRusso, who sells cars, and he's like a big success, and he's like the perfect guy, and you get the opposite of everything. Here's where I get the spoilers because I think this show's been out for 5 days. I'm pretty sure you guys can check them out now. So, yeah, let's just talk spoilers about this. So, basically, what I really enjoyed was the characters, of course. That always is the biggest thing that gets people going. This story with Zapka trying to train this kid. He buys the dojo Cobra Kai, of course. And basically, he needs more students, but he can't do anything until, of course, Miguel uses what he learns at school to finally take on the bullies. And the main bully happened to date this girl Samantha LaRusso, who was daughters of Daniel, Ralph Macchio's character. And basically, after beating those guys up, they go on their ways. And you have this story of Miguel, the kid, and Samantha dating, which was alright, I get it. And yeah, that's mainly their story for the most part, but it was cool though. The real thing that got me was Johnny and Daniel interaction with each other. Like the two guys still hate each other. They bring back references to their old past. And one of my favorite scenes of all time in TV show history now is probably gonna have to be with Daniel visiting Mr. Miyagi's gravestone and cutting his tree next to him, and he gets lessons of what to do, what's right and what's wrong, and he kind of remembers how karate is and everything, when he paints and stuff, and that's when he trains a kid who works with him who actually hates Johnny because the kid is his father. His son, I mean, my apologies. And basically, the story here is that he's trying to get revenge, but at the same time, he learns a lot from Daniel, and then they start training the same way Mr. Miyagi trained Daniel in the original Karate Kid with the whole washing the cars and stuff like that. And it was just great. It was good little references as well as good stuff. And then Zapka, this show helps out the original movie a lot because you actually get Johnny's side of the story of where he was when he was with Ali why they broke up. They got in an argument. They try to win her back, and then he basically, you get his side of the story of how Daniel is the bully in his story, which is really interesting to say because a lot of people like Johnny. The real issue was his trainer John Keys, played by Martin Colvin. I'll get to him later, but basically it's just that story and basically it's basically the same story that you expect from the Karate Kid, but just two different sides of it. And what's crazy is that these kids eventually go rogue, you could say, because Johnny learned differently than Daniel did, and that's how he motivates these kids to stop being pussies and losers and get up and do something, because that's how he saw them as. And then eventually all these like kids who were picked on, now they're the bullies and they could defend themselves, and it was just like great storytelling. And one of the best characters, the newer characters, was Amanda LaRusso, played by Courtney Hengler, I think it is. She's married to Daniel in the show, and she kind of like evens out everything. Like she's basically like the person that even out everything, and it was just great. And I really enjoyed him a lot, her a lot. She's kind of like making sure like there's no like crazy stuff going on with everybody. So she was doing a great job, evening everything out with the daughter relationship, the father relationship. Everything was great. His son, played by a little fat kid named Griffin Santo Pietro, I think it was. He was pretty funny. He was just more like the comic relief, this kid that doesn't want to do anything. I'm pretty sure in season 2, if we get to it, we're gonna get him to like want to train with LaRusso. And one of the new characters, Hawk. I forgot the name of the actor, but yeah, I'm gonna just call him Hawk because that's what he kept calling himself. He was kind of like he was too much. He was this kid that was a nobody. Then he like starts like getting fake IDs, and I was like, I don't know. And that was one of the biggest issues. These kids were really fastly changed. They went from nobodies to like these jackasses. The real one that stood out the most was Miguel, which is of course the main kid in the story, you could say. So you could understand why that was the case. And I never talked about Robbie King, who's Johnny's kid. Not really a lot, but he grew up in the hood, because his mom was never there, his father was never there, and it's basically that kind of story where he has no role models except Daniel LaRusso, and it was just a great storytelling when he finds out about whose father's who. You feel bad for him because he really learned a lot, and now he's kind of like betraying him. It sucked, but yeah. But then we get to the final battle, and the good thing about this TV show is that and no argument to Karate Kid the movie, because it's one of my favorite movies of all time. But you obviously knew Daniel was gonna win the battle, against Johnny in the original movie, but in here, because everybody had a part to play. I mean, you knew who the final two were gonna be. You just didn't know who was gonna win. That was crazy. And yeah, it was like, who the hell is gonna win? And sure enough, Miguel won the final tournament after beating Robbie. And and it was like, yeah, Cobra Kai finally won against the LaRussos. And then that's when you see that Johnny never wanted to win the trophy, and actually neither did Miguel. He lost his girlfriend after like being such a jackass. Johnny basically lost his closest relationship with his son. It was just great. And it basically gives like a bigger story to play in the next season, which I hope it does come into play, because this was a really, really good show. At the end, you get basically 3 cliffhangers. One with Samantha, because in the show it shows that Daniel trained her for karate, and now she's kind of coming back to it and training again. Then my favorite nostalgic moment was Daniel and Robbie going to Mr. Miyagi's house. Uh, Mr. Miyagi's house, where he trained, and then he's like, yeah, we're just gonna need more people. So basically, he's gonna start his dojo now. And then Cobra Kai, you have the ending of Johnny Lawrence. Basically just like writing to his son, trying to finish the letter. He looks at the trophy, he's all upset because he lost the real prize. And then you hear a voice, you're like, yeah, Cobra Kai is back. And sure enough, it's Johnny Kreese. Yes, Martin Cove is back. He's like, the Cobra Kai story is just getting started. So that means we're for sure getting another season, hopefully. Because now we got more reasons to stay behind this story, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna bring back characters from previous Karate Kid movies, like 2 and 3. I doubt the new Karate Kid will ever be referenced again. But yeah, there was that. Yeah, I really doubt they're coming back. Seeing Randy Heller coming back, that was a great moment. A real question that people are questioning is Elizabeth Shue gonna come back as Anna? Because there's a scene where Johnny and Daniel are talking at a bar, and they talk about Allie and how like they both miss her, and then they check their Facebook, and it's like, is she gonna come into play? In one hand, I kind of wish, but in the second half, like they don't really need her. But overall, for the first season, it was great. They're 30 minutes each, so you could easily just sit through 5 hours and finish this show ASAP. It's a good 5 hours, better than Mania, you could say. But yeah. Yeah, I really enjoyed this show. It's a must see, especially for me, for a Karate Kid fan. It's not perfect. Some of the characters were were rushed too fast. Like the Hawk was Daniel's cousin was kind of a bitch. Like, I didn't like him. I don't know. He like doesn't come into play other than burning Johnny's car. But yeah, overall this show was great. Some bad pacing, some stuff were a little bit dull, but it was fine. It's a 9 out of 10. Definitely a high recommendation for you guys. Again, 5 hours YouTube Red. The first 2 episodes are free, so watch the first 2 episodes, and if you're hooked, watch the rest because they're totally worth it. So yeah, that's what I think about Cobra Kai. It's a great show. I can't wait for season 2. Yeah. Anyways, it's me, the ALE Double X Prince. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. I don't know when I'm gonna be back. I'm working night. I'm working night, so it depends on when I start coming back. So anyways, me, the ALE Double X Prince. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and until then, I'm out.